Gratitude to Avea and Billy Joe for helping manage these workshops. I'm ready to be sketchnoting like a demon. We are really honored to have MeliAn with us today. We're coming in all the way from Brazil. Um, uh,
Bolivia.
oh,
Bolivia.
I, you are right. From Bolivia. Um, we have another guest from Brazil who's in our class today. But look at this. This is this wonderful new book um, on how to keep a nature journal, and we're going to be speaking with the author and learning about some of the insights from making this. What it's like to develop and cultivate a new community of nature journalers, um, and but first, could I just do kind of a quick flip of this so people could kind of look under the hood? That's okay? All right, so
Yes, please. Thank you, Jack.
this thing, this is really exciting. This is going to be something that will be useful, so useful for anybody who wants to pick this up and do it. But look at how much fun this is. Oh, you had me at ruler. So gives you it's fully illustrated, sort of thinking about your this is your brain nature and how you can what you can do to start your own journaling process. It goes through the major prompts of how we think about our nature journaling and the toolkits, the things that you need, and then strategies to help you get started. It is really fun, beautifully fully illustrated and annotated so that you can really understand what are the strategies that you might want to bring to the table. So this is so much fun, and we get to pick MeliAn's brain about kind of best practices that she's seen in how to make this work for people, and also how do we inspire people across this beautiful planet to be working at this together. We are delighted and honored to have you with us today. And with that quick flip, we'll be digging into other parts of this book more, but I just want to put this on people's radar that this is this very accessible, durable, comprehensive guide to how can you get yourself started on keeping your own nature journal that I absolutely love. MeliAn, thank you so much for being here. Let's turn the floor over to you about what is inspiring you.
Thank you, Jack, for showing this work with all the community, and also thank you to the community because every page that everyone shares in from the Facebook page was really inspiring to me for creating this book. This is not just just an individual work. It's a lot of inspiration that came from all the community. So I'm really thankful, and it's a little something that I have to express is also that Jack it's a really amazing person because he wrote the foreword for my book. A friend of mine translates the words from Jack, but when we are reading the foreword, we can feel all the inspiration as Jack is talking in Spanish. So it's really nice to read uh, all the words from Jack in Spanish. So all this work is made with all my heart, my soul, and all the learnings that I can learn every day from nature and from people, because people is also nature. So I'm really thankful, Jack, and everyone.
Well, thank you for sharing this, and this is something that's going to really make this whole process and activity accessible to people who otherwise, like, well, I guess it would be nice to have a notebook, but I don't even know where to start. This is the place. The Now, I was wondering if you might just sort of talk a little bit about kind of what inspired you to do this project. Writing a book is scary. It often takes much more time than you think. It takes a lot of dedication and work. What inspired you to want to hatch this egg?
Well, it's a really great question. I would love to share some slides
Great.
to share all this adventure experience. May I can share?
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Give me just 1 second. Oh no, technical issues. Here.
It's going to be okay. It always when oh, there you go.
Well, okay. This is like translation of the title. Start your nature journal. Let me introduce myself a little bit. My name is Ana Melisa Miranda Justiniano. So it's shorter if you can call me MeliAn. It's the combination of my names. And the project is MeliAn Ciencia Creativa. It's like creative science in English. So thank you so much for this opportunity to share this project. Well, oops, I don't know if the page is changing. Okay, this is maybe the resume of my life with nature, because my academic field was, as you know, academic profession. I am environmental engineer, so technical issues and everything about nature was really serious and academic, but something was I feel that something else I need for myself and for helping people connect with nature. So I started in 2017 with a friend. We started a startup. So we started to promote environmental education, not just for people who is related to scientific fields like biologists or environmental engineers, just for people of every person that is interested on nature. So in those years I found I was researching, and I discovered by myself about Nature Journal, the amazing group from Facebook, the Nature Journal Club. So my adventure started from those times, and I can show you some pages. For example, when I was kid, as I remember, I had the fortune to write and draw nature. If you can see one of my my notebooks when I was a little girl. But when I was young, I just draw just for fun, like a hobby. But always I had always drawing nature. It's really interesting because I didn't draw, I don't know, robots or anything else. Always was nature. And then when I started to study and all my academic field, I have always had a notebook or something to write and taking notes. But if you can see, I just take notes like writing or numbers. So my drawing abilities were sleeping. But then, if you can see in the 2020 is one of my first, maybe my first attempt, like a real nature journal page, because I have the 3 prompts and the 3 language that I think is the most important elements that nature journal has. And until now, I still sorry, I'm continuing creating my nature journal pages that I'm really glad, and it's an honor to share, especially in Pencil Mayas, because it's a really nice community. So maybe the personal challenges that I had in all of those years, first of all, is information access, because sometimes when you are interested in, or you are curious in some topic, maybe you are a little bit afraid to what are you going to do, and where are you going to start. So researching information, looking websites, assist to webinars, where workshops are a hard work to create and have it, and also to promote in really like a self control of what is nature journal for me. Also, I want to share something that maybe is like a local context, because I am from Bolivia. Here, the promotion of another languages are so important. So we have more than 30 native languages. So imagine if you don't speak, for example, Spanish or English, but you are native. You're the way you have to communicate something is just verbal. We don't have in another languages writing or reading, and right now they modify this thing, and they create the language, but it's not totally the real or the original language. So complement with Spanish, or learning another language sometimes could be difficult, because you have to know the grammar, etc. Those kind of challenges. It's not difficult, but it's a long path to have. And also, I think it's important, if you like something, to create your habit. So for me, it was really important to create my own nature journaling habit, but not just like in a rigorous way that every day you have to nature journal. Just enjoy and try to find something, even if you don't go, I don't know, to the most uh, uh, the forest that maybe people didn't go, never, or any way. I'm sorry. And also the materials that I can afford by myself, for example, art materials, and also reference or books. Shipping regulations are very important in my local context because sometimes changes. I cannot afford some materials. So imagine if you another people want to start their own nature journal. They think they want maybe an expensive material, or they just wanted to start with watercolor. So maybe it's a little different in this context. Think about what we are going to have for get those kind of materials. So I have always tried to uh, work with my home materials, simple notebook, a pencil, and if I have scholar colors, okay, this is okay. So I started in this way to nature journaling. And also, maybe in a personal way, is the emotional support, because when something is different in your community, maybe you can feel alone, but when you find the right people, like the nature journal community, you have always had that kind of support. So I think virtual mode is really important in those kind of projects, when you find another people and you can connect, and you feel all the support, and you continue your work, your hopes and everything. So in 2020, I started a Spanish Nature Journal Club. You can see some of the pages of the members. It was a really nice experience. It's the Spanish version of the original Nature Journaling Club. But I don't know if it was just the COVID situation, or because people wanted to go outdoors, and the club in the virtual mode is not working at all. I tried many times to promote in virtual mode, but it's still been an important challenge, maybe for the Spanish community, because people wanted outdoor activities. So talking about my local nature adventure, well, local nature Bolivia, you can see the profile of my all my country, as well, Jack show us a little ruler is the profile of my country. So we are from 300 meters until we have 5,000, more than 5,000 meters. So right now I am in La Paz, in 3,600 meters. So maybe you can join me into a fast virtual trip. Maybe you can practice in Iwirmo. I notice, I wonder, it reminds me of, because this is a view of my city, La Paz. If you can see, we have a lot of contrast between mountains, trees, and the urban composition. So welcome to La Paz. And if we go up, we are going to find this kind of mountains, the Andean mountains. We have two nice, amazing chains, the west and the east and the west mountain chain. And also, if we go to the southern part of my city, we are going to see ecotone transition. So my country, if you are walking in one mountain and you go around this mountain, that mountain changes a lot. So it's important when we are thinking about nature journal, the local context of what we have to show, or what we have to record in our pages. And also, if we go to the east west side, we are going to find the most highest lake in all around the world, Lago Titicaca, Titicaca Lake. So we have also a lot of water reservoirs. And if we go to the south part of my country, we are going to find the biggest desert of salt, the salt plate, Uyuni salt plate. But I think the most important, very important in a personal way, are our forests, because our forests are really amazing. The Bolivian territory is like 60% of forest, because it is near to the Amazon basin. So also we have the dry forest, we call here Chaco forest. So if you can see, it's really important how people can connect with their own local landscapes and biodiversity, and obviously all the nature that we have. And obviously the Amazon forest, that is a nice privilege to live in this country. I'm really glad for because I am from Bolivia. So hope you can visit me someday. It's an invitation for everyone to visit Bolivia. So those things that I show you, my first attempt in a serious way to create this book was in 2022. So right now, this is a gift if you subscribe to my weekly newsletter, because this is the first mini guide that I created. I wrote a mini guide using the most basic things, the 3 prompts, um, the languages, the basic tools, and where you have to go for nature journaling. It was a really basic, really basic guide. But then I create in 2023, the second attempt is like, I called like a mini recipe, because it's very shorter, but it has also the most essential things that nature journal has. And this version has an English version, so it's in Spanish and English. So I try to create the most simple but the most important structure about what I have learned from nature journal, what we can do about nature journal. Even it was a nice challenge to adapt the words in English and translate the context in Spanish, because when you translate in a very direct way, you don't feel the words. So the words have to have the essence, and for connecting people. So it's nice when you talk about, I notice, I wonder, it reminds me of, in Spanish is me doy cuenta, me planteo me recuerda a. So it's really nice to feel the words in your own language. So the third attempt, in 2024, well, I was working every day as I can. Thank you, Jack, for sharing us some pages from the book. This is the result of many things that happened in my life about connecting nature and trying to use all my learnings and my experience to share with my own people, my local context, and my country especially, and also Spanish community. So right now the main or the challenge, my work, my objective is promoting nature journaling. I try to translate my own quote in English. Maybe it's not the precise, but I want to share this quote is: when something really matters to you, you pay attention to it. Try observing nature. So I am using this quote to engage my people for trying connect nature, just observing and record and enjoying all the gifts that nature always is bringing us. So this is an example of a person that even I don't know her because it's a virtual meeting. It's a mother and her daughter that just using the all the things that I try to promote with nature journal in Spanish. They created these amazing pages, and right now I'm trying to promote a Spanish nature journal club, but in person. So these also are the examples that people are doing their own pages. So I think that the the work is having their results. So right now is the most amazing and funny and challenging work that I want to share to engage people with nature. So that's it. Thank you. And I don't know if are are some questions or if it's okay.
This, I am so excited about this. Again, so in this little book, so it's portable. So shipping this to different people is not going to be prohibitively expensive. You know, the size, the content, it's just a size that can travel. I think that this is going to motivate a whole bunch of people. I wanted to ask you about one of your personal favorite nature journaling activities to do, not necessarily with a group, but when you are out on your own. What is one of your favorite nature journaling pastimes?
Well, first, something that I want to promote is just by myself is that I can nature journal everywhere. So sometimes when I cannot go outside, I just started to observe my own my own nature that I have at home. I have a lot of plants, pot plants. So I just enjoy observing my own plants. And yeah. And also when I am walking and visiting museums, I try to to take notes. And I don't know, maybe I try to to take notes and convert everything in a page, and just record and enjoy what I am doing. As right now, I'm taking notes. I'm a little bit messy, but I'm taking notes.
Hey, me too.
Yeah,
Ah,
so I don't know, maybe because I feel that it's more comfortable to me taking notes, and then I flip the pages. I think it's the most beautiful thing that we can have for nature journaling. Thank you, Sarah.
now, what is when you are starting to teach this to people and you're sharing nature journaling, what do you find is there any are there any particular activities that you find either maybe that's the same for adults and kids, but what or different for adults and kids? What are some of your kind of go-to, I'm going to get these people hooked on nature journaling? Very often, like I think like the first activities that we do make a big impact because people are kind of going like, is this something that I really want to lean into or not? What activities for to kind of get people journaling do you find are some of your best hooks?
Uh, well, first, breaking the ice with a short dynamic. For example, we started introduced ourselves and sharing what is our favorite species, even if it's a plant or an animal, for example. So, for example, hi, my name is MeliAn, and my favorite bird is a bird called cortarramas. I don't know the name in English, so I'm sorry.
I think I've got your
But
stickers of that right here.
so this is the way that we start. The stickers. Yeah, this is the female.
I would have the other ones, but they're in my girls' journals. My daughters saw these on my desk and they said, "Oh, could I have that one? Could I have that one?" Let me
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, this is my favorite bird. This is the female. The male. If you can see my screen,
Yep.
uh, it has a red belly, and the front part is red. It's really nice bird that I we have here. Is I'm in love with that bird.
It looks gorgeous. And actually when I look at this picture, I can tell you're in love with this bird. It's just adorable, right? How could you not
Yeah.
fall in love with a bird like that? Hey, I want to invite everybody here who's in the room. What we're going to do is we're going to go along with this. I want to, in introducing yourself, I want to invite everybody here in the workshop to drop into the chat what is your favorite bird. So think of what is, or not necessarily bird, your favorite species. Could be a plant, could
Yeah.
be an animal. Um, and let's drop that in there right now. Ooh, a leafy sea dragon. That's fun. Um, so when you are so you've got a new group of people, you help people introduce themselves to each other, often using their an animal that they're passionate about as a bit of an introduction. Um, and then what nature journaling activity or prompt are you finding is one of the most useful for you that kind of gets everybody doing it and focusing? How do you kind of set that up for your
Uh,
students?
yeah. First, I try to encourage people about the not pretty picture, because I also ask uh, who is who likes or is the best drawing. Raise your hand. Okay, no problem. Everyone can everyone can draw, everyone can make their own sketches. It's not a test. You are not going to be judged by something like that. So I have started, just we focus in some nature elements that we have near, and everyone started to draw what they are looking. It's like um, a warm up of nature. It took like, I just pressure a little bit in just 1 minute. I start to draw.
Mm.
So people start and forget maybe it's a funny pressure to starting to observe nature. So that worked
So,
in my way.
so
So mhm,
you're going to give them a sort of a very short time frame so people cannot get fussy about it,
yeah.
and just sort of everybody under 1 minute, there's no masterpiece going to be rolling out, which also then gives people permission, like, well, I only had a minute, right?
Yes.
But
Uh-huh.
you're also then, I think something that's interesting about that is very quickly right off the bat, everybody's got something on their page.
Yeah, and we can compare in a good way, because I say, okay, this is your warm up. Don't feel bad, because it's just warm up. Okay, we are going to turn the page, and we started to put the date, the place. So right now we are going to check again the element, the nature element, and we are going to use 3 prompts. I always say the 3 prompts that we are going to use, and you are going to start to draw using these 3 prompts. And I put an example, and then people can follow the example, but in their own way. So I'm not giving them maybe the complete path. I just let people to feel their self, how they can draw, or they can take notes.
Mm-hmm.
And uh, it's nice when people that think or believe that have ugly draws, or they cannot draw, they are the first one that are drawing. So I
Mm.
say, yes, you did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So many people are blocked by that fear of perfectionism. Um, I
Yes.
wonder if your prompt of just like, quickly, we're going to do a 1 minute sketch or two, just helps people get something down on the page. Um, that's really liberating.
Yeah, because when maybe when you are trying to pressure in a little way, but like a funny game, people didn't feel that they have to make the pretty picture. They just enjoy. Then they are laughing, and
Mm.
they are they feel that they are connecting. And also it's nice. Well, I don't have the draw. A girl started doing just a simple sketch, and when we finished the session, uh, she also uses colors and more words, and it's a really nice transition in just a few hours or a few minutes, how people can feel when you support that people can do it.
Yeah. Um, and sometimes just giving people permission, saying you can do this, and that this is good enough. And the goal then is to pay attention to nature, rather than the goal being, I must come up with a gorgeous painting of this tree. It allows you just to kind of geek out and have fun with that tree.
Yeah. Mhm.
Um, I was wondering if you could tell us maybe a little bit more about what do you think when you look at the communities that you serve and are starting to get excited about nature journaling. What are some of the biggest obstacles? Some of the things, what things are preventing people from doing nature journaling? And is that different in different age groups? Is that different in different communities? Is that different in different language groups? What do you see as sort of the major barriers between people and having this practice be something that they do on a regular basis?
Uh, uh, a really interesting question because I think is uh, in in my own experience maybe uh, people is a little afraid when something is different because it's totally new. And when you have a background, for example, I admire a lot of about scientific illustration. You know, you have to communicate science in a very precise way. Maybe people have those information in their brains, and they thought that they have to create something amazing like that. So nature journal is different because you don't have to create a really amazing page. And also your pages are amazing, even you are not creating a really serious, maybe serious, I can say, or a
Mhm.
serious way to communicate science. So I think this is the most challenging uh, part that I always I'm trying to to fight in a good way
Yeah.
because uh, uh, maybe people feel that it's not the way that they wanted to spend time in nature. They just wanted to go and relax and sleep, maybe taking photos. And that's a challenge in my local context. And also when when people maybe uh, wanted like mm, how I can say this, maybe they wanted something for when you bring a, it's like when you bring a gift, when I cannot explain. uh, they wanted like a gift for doing this kind of things. So, for example, if even if the event is free, people wanted to have like a certificate or a document that they they do the nature journal. It's an example. So it's maybe my local context that people wanted something else more than rewards. Thank you so much. Something else more than the experience. So uh, it's just I'm trying to promote, but people ask and what we are going to have the experience, the amazing experience, certificate, or maybe an organization is supporting this activity. No, it's just a personal project. And so this is a challenging part that I am having. It's
Let me repeat that back to see if I understand
okay.
correctly. You're finding that there are I'll kind of think about the last one first. That people tend to want some sort of external reward or badge or symbol that you have done this, therefore you've earned this. Congratulations, here it is, rather than the idea that nature journaling is useful in and of itself. We're not doing this to get this badge. We're not, or this external reward. We're doing this because internally, if I do this, I connect with the world more, or I notice something beautiful that I would not have seen. But they're saying that there's perhaps a cultural expectation that there will be some that you will earn some physical thing other than your experience. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah, correctly. Thank you, Jack, for for create the idea, the main idea. Yeah, this is the one of the challenge that people want something like you know they can show that they do something, and then maybe share in their curriculum something like that.
I wonder if how the nature journal itself might be seen as something that that what you're getting is this that the nature journal is recording and documenting these sorts of things, that in itself is 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 a reward. Or I wonder if just something as simple as like, oh, you did a nature journal page, here's a little sticker, right? um,
Nice.
I wonder if that might be something that might feed that hunger for like getting something, like, oh, I've got a sticker, I can put that on my journal. um,
Yeah,
Especially
because
if they're your stickers.
yeah, I agree. But
That little
you
guy.
know, you have to invest. Well, I invest my savings for creating those
Yeah.
stickers, and I, I'm not just living with air. That's why my page has some ads because and the as I told you, some regulations are and our culture, our ideas, our local context is different to maybe create a donation culture.
Mm.
Uh, so people is not open in those kind of things, and they just believe in an institution. Yeah,
Mm.
if, for example, if I'm not a personal project, if I'm just if I can use the example of Wild Wonder, and I present Wild Wonder is doing a nature journal in Bolivia, they are going to see with more trust, and they are
Interesting.
going to have more. They are they maybe be more confident for participating in this kind of institution. So it's uh, a work that I'm trying to promote, but also trying to uh, help people to understand that uh, is is a project for promoting environmental education. So uh, maybe they can understand this all the dynamic of nature journaling. So that's maybe the basic context that I can
Yeah.
share. Mhm.
The and when you started talking about it, you were also mentioning how um people are being afraid of creating something new and of it not being um that and if feeling that if they can't draw well, then it's not going to be spectacular. And so then feeling a little bit scared about doing that. What um I often kind of find myself thinking of is like nature is doing all of these amazing and spectacular things. And if I can just get my journal to reflect something cool that nature is doing, then the emphasis, the focus then is on nature as opposed to my journal. Like this isn't the thing, but the more that we can get people to focus on look at that cool thing that nature did. Wow. That is that takes the pressure off of me. It puts it all in nature. Like, oh, I look at this cool thing that I noticed that nature did. I wonder if in that context, that sort of framing might be useful there.
Yeah, well, a participant of one of the workshops told me, I'm really happy because I create my first own nature journal page. She was really excited. I congratulate her. But and she told me, I hope if I can continue, and I encourage her. So maybe also is how we can promote uh, that nature journal. It can be a short habit, but not in a pressure way. For example, I created like a virtual dynamic is about 10 minutes, 10 days. It's called 10 minutes, 10 days. So you started one day, uh, nature journal in 10 minutes, and you finish. And the other day, when you have time, in another 10 minutes, and you have the result. And you have to complete the 10 days. So you have 10 daily pages. I have here an example. Maybe I can show you. Yeah. Day
That
5,
sounds
day
very
3.
accessible. 10 minutes, 10
Yeah.
days.
And this is day 1.
That was all done on day one? Day one. You were busy during your 10
Yeah.
minutes.
Yeah. And it's the purpose. Maybe you can think in 10 minutes I'm not going to draw anything. I don't have enough time. And you can create these kind of things.
Ah,
The second day, you also can add some color.
oh, what fun.
And okay, the third day is more detailed. And the other day I put more words.
Ah, ah.
And day 5 is a comic. Okay, this is an exercise of the other day. And
And this just gives you permission to start.
yeah,
And it's
and
finite.
you then find the final day you can also use your creativity, and you have 10 daily pages in just 10 minutes. So that's what I'm trying to encourage people, that where we are going to create. This is a virtual event that I'm having in November. So I share my own my own daily challenge uh, during 10 days. Uh, it started in 2021, so this is my fourth year creating this
That
event.
sounds really fun. I think we'd love to get more of the nature journaling community doing 10 minutes, 10 days with you. All right, just
It's
quick show of hands. Does anybody else in on that? Yeah, yeah. I'm because what I like about that is that you're just sort of saying like, don't don't overthink it. Just and it gets us out of that sort of mindset of like, oh, I don't have time to really do whatever it is. This is just 10 minutes. You want to do something else that day? You have 50 minutes left in that same hour.
Yeah.
That's a really, really cool idea. Um,
Yeah, and some people share their own pages. Friends from Mexico and Argentina, they are part of the Nature Journal Club in Spanish. They share their own challenge in the last year, I think, and they also were really grateful because they didn't expect that they can do the challenge, the 10 days, 10 minutes.
that's cool. And doing it one day just sets you up for the next. Like
Yeah.
that wasn't so bad. And then you get a little hit of dopamine at the end of it saying, ooh, wasn't that fun? So much more likely that you'll do it the next day. That's really cool. Um, the I saw in the chat sort of Valerie kind of want to go back to the idea of sort of stickers and stamps. The idea that sometimes an extrinsic motivation, so something that is outside of you, like if you do this, you'll get this. Um, the we find and this I wonder if this is something that is across cultures, but when it has been studied in generally kind of Western Europeans and North Americans are way overstudied in the research. There's this huge cultural bias, but we find people from sort of uh, North American sort of Northern Europe backgrounds tend to, with there's an external motivation, um, be less have less follow through and sort of less motivation to do it. I wonder if that is a cultural thing, if that is a um, or if that is um, a more universal thing. You're mentioning that the stickers and 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 stamps, and Rochelle in Brazil is also saying that they've created some stamps that they find as kind of an official confirmation that students. Rochelle, could we bring you in on the conversation to hear your if so, um, if you you can unmute, and is it okay to
Yes,
um is it okay to bring you in on the
yes,
screen here? Great. We'd love to
yeah.
hear kind of your experience with that, because yeah, it is, because I'm wondering about like what is the sort of the use of this sort of external reward? Is that a cultural thing? What's your experience with it?
Yes. What I didn't create it. I copied from the urban sketchers because when I go out with the urban sketchers to draw in the city, after the activity, they stamp your page like you officially did it with the date and everything. And everybody wants the stamps. And I was paying attention to that at the end, everybody stays there and I want the stamp. And I decided to create one for the nature journaling. And I can show you here. See, after the activity, you just stamp. We can put date if you want, but
Mhm.
not necessary. And the kids like a small uh, stick on the clothes to show they are being part of the activity.
Oh,
They just use it to show that they are in the activity, part of the group. But the adults, they also love the stamp.
that's really cool. Sarah, could we bring you in on the conversation too? Um, it's cool to see Rochelle's image. Like I've always been like extrinsic reward. I'm not comfortable with that. but I know I like stickers. I don't know.
They only feel proud of it.
Um, yeah, what's been your experience with that? Oh, sorry. You can unmute now.
How's that? Oh yeah, there we
There
go.
we go.
Yeah, it was just a little detail, but when I set up the group, I thought, oh, I'll just get a small number of badges made, like buttons.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, they're probably not going to be all that popular because it's a bit niche and it's got my logo on it, and people don't really know what Goga is or what we're about. But I had some in the bag, and then as I was getting regular people coming along, they wanted something that would recognize their commitment, and so having a badge that they can wear has made them feel bonded and part of a club, and it encourages them to come back. So if they've done like 2, 3, or 4 sessions, it's a way of saying thank you for your commitment, thank you for coming back, here's a recognition for it. And then they all they turn up at their sessions now. Have you got your badge on? They do a little badge check. So it's nice, it's great. So it doesn't feel like it's publicity or anything like that. It is absolutely a social bonding friendship type thing. So it's yeah, I'm all for it. And I love this stamp idea. I'm just like thinking I want to get one of those now as well.
That's really, really interesting. Because yeah, this sort of makes me like I guess we should never have the hubris to think we understand human nature, right? But at some formative point, I read something or saw a TED talk about extrinsic motivation, and I was thinking like, it's got to all come from the inside. But I wonder if, every once in a while, a carrot isn't a really nice, tasty thing to have. That's interesting. Does anybody let's I'm gonna just bop over to the my gallery view, and if anybody else sort of has some thoughts or wants to kind of get in on this part of the conversation, um just raise your paw, and we'll stick you into this. You can either use the raise hand function or just sort of turn on your camera and kind of do a little dance, and we'll notice there's something interesting going on there. If you don't feel comfortable turning on your camera, that's okay too. Let's bring in Jay Lackman into the conversation. You can now unmute yourself. Or let me click that again. Oh, there we go. And if you want to turn on your camera, you can. If you don't feel comfortable with that, that's totally fine. Oh, there we go. We're gonna add you into the spotlight here. So what are your thoughts on this? We're currently not hearing you. Jay Lackman, we are.
Okay.
Oh, there we are. We're good.
All right. You're asking me about doing the daily nature journaling, or I mean, this was great. This was so inspiring to hear about Bolivia and the habitats. And actually, I was watching the her page, and there was something on corvids, and I was wondering if that exotic green bird was a corvid, some kind of jay or something.
Oh yeah.
But I
Could you tell?
don't know if I'm going off on a tangent from where you were trying to direct me.
No. The originally I was trying to see if anybody had thoughts about the this sort of intrinsic, extrinsic motivation thing, but anything that is also on your mind, we're interested. So, MeliAn, that beautiful green corvid there, what jay are we looking at? That we saw it in the when you showed us the slideshow. Oh, I hope we have the original there. Oh, we're gonna get to see the original. Okay.
For the motivation part, I guess that must be something, that might be something cultural.
Well, thank you, Jay Lackman. If I pronounce
Josh,
it.
just call me Josh.
Josh.
Okay.
Okay. Well, if you remember, well, I started in a serious way
I'm
nature
gonna,
journal
while you're
during
talking, I'm gonna be
2020.
removing other people's spotlights so we can make this bigger. And if you want to
So
come back into the conversation, just stick your hand up again. We'll plop you right back in. But this way we can make, and also make myself disappear, remove spotlight. Whop. There we go. Let's see that.
okay. As you know, in 2020, I started my serious habits about nature journal, and if you remember, Jack created this challenge, Corbett.
Mm-hmm.
So
Was that the
I started,
COVID-19 challenge?
yeah. So I started my own challenge with my local Corbett,
Mm-hmm.
and I started to create uh, uh, like an in a infographic way, uh, all about Corbett, and the the Corbett that I showed in the photo was this, the
Oh,
the
yes, this
green
is the
one.
page.
Yeah.
So this is the green jay.
Yep.
Oh, I have green jay envy. What a gorgeous bird. Look at that. Look at that. It's also fun to zoom in and zoom out and sort of see this in different postures and also close in on that face with that lovely
Yes.
little tufty in front of its face.
Uh-huh. Yeah. But here is an example also about uh, challenging myself, not to focus on the pretty picture because I wanted the most beautiful picture and everything. It just I started in that way, but then my pages are more like me. I don't know how to explain, but I'm just enjoying my own pages. For example, this is an experiment.
Mm. Oh, what fun. Yeah.
I'm trying to promote nature journal, being ourselves, because that's the way that I enjoyed making nature journal. Maybe one more example that I can share is when I'm studying my master degree with a scholarship. I also took my notes in a nature journal mode,
Mm-hmm.
and the result of my research even is very academic and very serious. You have the numbers and the calculations and all the academic uh, uh, modes to present a research. I also I create a page using all the nature journal things that I learned. So this is a map that represents all all my own learning way of nature journal, and I so people can read this this research. If you are an academic, you are going to understand all the academic composition, but also people that are not familiar with all the academic language can understand with the drawings, the maps, and so the research is in a really catchy way to engage with this research. So
That's
I'm really thankful with all nature journal tools and experiences, because when you understand the the essence, the soul of nature journal, you can use everywhere, everything as you want.
That's right. It's just such an open-ended tool. So let's throw this open to the room for a moment. Does anybody have any questions that you would like to ask, or comments that you would like for MeliAn? Anything that you notice, wonder, or that this reminds you of that you would like to share? I'm going to go over to my gallery view. If so, just you can raise your hand using the raise hand button, or turn on your camera and wave at us. And so I would like to, let's bring in Star. Now, Star, actually, I saw you in the audience, and I thought it would be wonderful to bring you in on this, because you also have just done the incredible work of completing a book on nature journaling. Would love to hear your thoughts and comments on what we're seeing and discussing here today.
Yeah, thank you, Jack. I just would like to applaud MeliAn, because I think what she's doing is so, so important. And as I've been listening, I've been on my phone sending your newsletter information to some teachers who teach English as a second language, or English as a new language, more appropriately. So you're going to help some people here in the Northeast of the United States with your work, who will be dealing with language issues. We have quite a number of migrant workers. And the wonderful thing about nature journaling that I've been talking to these teachers about is how it crosses the curriculum. So you can do your science, you can do English, you can do math, whatever, but to have more materials and information in Spanish is really, really helpful for planning as well as execution. So I just wanted to say thank you, truly. You're going to help a lot of people.
And you, as also a writer, you know that hatching an egg like this is really, really difficult.
Yeah, I got up this morning at 3:30. I'm still working. It's not totally hatched, Jack. It's out there, but it's quite a process, and worth every moment. It's definitely a great way to communicate, and I think kudos to you, MeliAn. It's wonderful work you're doing. I did have I had a question that came up when I was talking to these teachers that maybe some folks would have an opinion on. And when we're talking about people coming here from another country who are just learning English, it's such a difficult struggle. And many of them are very, very homesick, so there's the emotional component to this huge transition. They don't know if they'll ever get home, and there's a lot of loss and longing. And so when I was discussing this with the teachers, I said, and then I thought, oh God, maybe it's not nature journaling anymore. But I said, why not let them deal with what they miss at home in their journal? They're not going to be able to actually see it, which is what I always think of when I think of nature journaling. I think I'm observing, I'm looking, and then I'm taking that information into my journal. But in this case, it would be remembering. Yeah. I'm remembering. And I think it's a useful and maybe an important thing to do. But do we still call that nature journaling when it's dealing with memory? Go for it, Jack.
What you've got there is the it reminds me of piece really brought to the front.
Yeah.
And I think you can absolutely, I think of nature journaling as a pretty darn big tent.
Yeah.
And
I like to too.
But I would say yes.
Yeah. I see how it would be so helpful.
That's a good thought.
And I also thought that you can take it into the world of food, which is such an important connector for people, students in these transition time, because that's something they can share. They don't need a lot of language to talk about it. And, but then you can link that to plant and animal life. And so anyway, my head's going around and I'm thinking there's some really cool ways we can work with these teachers. So thanks. You got
and I like how you're thinking about that, how to bring forward what these students are, what is in their mind, what is on their heart. And that actually ties into a question that Sarah was just asking. Sarah Bayfield was just asking in the chat. Sarah, did you want to ask that live? Kind of ties into what we've got going on here. The question was just sort of thinking about sort of multi-language nature journaling. And so MeliAn, in your situation where you've got people coming from a bunch of different language groups, you said 30 different languages where you are. I was just in Kenya in an area where there were 70 different languages. Wow. And do you have any thoughts or strategies when people are in the group that you're dealing with at the same time are coming from different cultures and are coming from different languages? You have to unmute.
Okay, thank you. Well, first, thank you, Star, for all your words, and thank you all the community. And right now we have a little a rule, a national rule that everyone is equal, not even if their culture, so or their religion, etc. So when we are creating those meetings, we try to first to feel our country. No matters if you have another country. That's why maybe the dynamic to introduce ourselves and tell what is your favorite species connect, because you can also learn what species is most important for someone. So this is a way that I can understand maybe where people is from of my country or the culture. And also when they uses some words that are specifically in their own language or the culture that they have. For example, when one of my birds that is called it's an sparrow that is in the book, the sparrow. It has another name because the local region is more Aymara. But my father told me that this little sparrow has another name that is in Quechua. And sometimes I am talking about this sparrow, thinking in the sparrow in Quechua, and people didn't catch what I'm talking about. So I have to use the local names for engage people. So that's maybe the way that I'm trying to learn by myself and also teach to other people that our culture is has a lot of enrichment words and information. And also because my mother is from the Amazon part of my country, I have another words that are not used here. And so even me, I had my totally mixed culture, because it's really diverse, different, for talking, but I don't have some I don't have any problems with our culture. You just try to be polite and to be kind, to understand people, and also you can share. And maybe because we are in the southern part, we are more happy, and maybe something like this. We are very open to meet people. So it's a part that we can feel that you are in a part of you are in a community, you are part of a community.
I think we need to work on that ethic here in the United States. I would really love to see that. It sounds like a celebration. It sounds like it adds, I could really see that adding richness and more fun. Thank you so much for these insights. Star, thank you for sharing with us, and all the people who've been participating in this conversation here. Before we wrap for today, MeliAn, if people wanted to subscribe to your newsletter and find out more about the work you're doing, if people wanted to get a copy of this book, I would love if you could talk a little bit about that. And did you also say that you have I was looking for it, but I couldn't, you said you have a place on your website that people can make donations to support the work that you're doing?
Well, thank you, Jack, and everyone once more until the time it's gone. Well, right now I'm not I'm working with the donation regulations. I'm just put Google AdSense. I'm sorry, I apologize for that.
It's all right.
Well, if you wanted a printed copy made in Bolivia, you can email me. I will, maybe I can share my email. So you are going to have the printed copy and the stickers as a gift when you if you want the printed copy, you're going to have the stickers as a gift. There are three stickers. Here I have some examples. The stickers of my birds.
Aww.
This is my favorite bird.
Yeah, Amelia took that bird. You sent that one to me.
Okay.
Amelia grabbed that one.
Yeah. So there are three stickers, and well, I don't have the other set of stickers. There are are two types of stickers. These are the birds of my city, and the others are animals from different parts of Bolivia. So I'm trying to work with Bolivian biodiversity. But if you want to have the book right now, you can get it from Amazon. Maybe thanks Ivea for sharing the link. The Amazon link is.
Is it financially better for you if people order it directly from you?
It's better. You just have to wait some days, because
Yeah.
shipping regulations are a little bit difficult to understand. So in 12 or 15 days, or it approximately those kind of days, you are going to have the printed book.
So I encourage people to do that rather than ordering from Amazon. Jeff Bezos is doing just fine. He's okay. And and we want to support people who are the artists and content makers in the field. And this would be a good way to do that. Also, does your website have a portal for making donations to support the education work that you're doing?
Right now it's not available, but
Okay.
I'm working on it. But so maybe next month we are going to have the button of this. But thank you, Jack.
And so when people come into your website, you'll see a pop-up that allows you to join the newsletter if you wish to as well, right?
Yep. Also, I can share the. Yeah. Thank you, Ibe.
Oh, she's on top of it. Got your
Yeah.
back.
Yes. Thank you
All right.
so
Well,
much.
and thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah.
I'd actually like to be in touch with you about kind of strategizing about how to enhance the distribution of this to make the, like, because this is something that I wonder if we can put our heads together and be thinking about how we could help help you make this accessible throughout Central America and South America.
Okay. Thank you so much, Jack, and also all the community. I don't have a lot of words right now. Also, maybe I can share this another experience, because when I started to follow Jack's work and the website and the virtual meetings, my English was so basic. I didn't want to talk. Right now, my English is better because, all the time I'm speaking Spanish. So I'm trying to improve my English. So I think, I believe that Nature Journal is also a tool for learning another language because you have the three basic languages, and you can understand drawing, pictures, numbers, and then you can adapt to your context. You are starting to enjoy nature. So thank you, Jack, for also the forward. I have to emphasize the forward, because when you are starting a personal work, maybe you want a support. It's really, I'm really grateful, happy to belong to all this community, and thank you all for sharing all your pages in the Facebook page. Thank you so much. I don't have words. A big hug to everyone.
Group hug. Hey, come on, get in there, everybody. Group hug. There we go. I also want to send us a shout out and thank you to Avea, the Mad Botanist Moore, to Billy Joe Reed, all the way from Canada. So from we really appreciate your addition to the conversation and creating this teaching tool that we hope is going to become a resource throughout the region. This is wonderful work. Thank you for being with us today. Also, thank you everybody here in the community who's joined us today for this discussion. Rochelle in Brazil, a pleasure to meet you and to share your thoughts and ideas. Thank you all. Until we meet again, folks, let's stay curious. Let's be kind. Let's do the best that we can to engage with this world, to engage with this beautiful life that we have the opportunity to live. We can do that through generosity. We can do that through curiosity. We can pay attention to the world around us. And the more that we do, the more precious this life is. Thank you all.